it's obvious that we're talking about the same job.
Sweet.
That's always a good idea.
All right. Thanks, Kevin.
Good to see you.
Next question from Gary King. How do you approach helping a client whose staff and customer base are both 80% ethnic and new to Canada when they struggle to understand basic English words like
Puree. Okay.
puree? Is that a basic English word? Man, I've not been reading the right books. See one example attached. They feel like the creative work is too clever to resonate with their audience. Oh, yeah, I could. Okay. Can we hear it, or is it?
Pumpkin pies are made in a kitchen with store-bought puree. But I think you're the first to have made puree driving with broken brakes through a pumpkin patch. How about you clean up and we'll fix those brakes at Third Gear Auto in Regina. Regina's premier destination for premium pre-owned vehicles. We service your vehicle and have the best selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs in the city. That'll sure kick you into gear, easy as pie. Shift to a higher gear. Service your car at Third Gear Auto Sales, 645 Ross Avenue East.
Okay, so, and then the final, how can I adjust the creative process to ensure stronger cultural communicative alignment while not simplifying the language so much that it strips the pizzazz? Okay, let me say two things. First, strip the pizzazz. Like if they're right and they know if they know, but before I finish that sentence, let me go back and say, that's a great ad.
Yeah, it's a fun ad.
You did a great job. That's a well-written ad. It's engaging. It's clever enough it's a little cheesy, which makes ads endearing to me. I love when an ad is a little bit cheesy because it's like, we're all dorks at heart, and it kind of appeals to that. And so I think it's a great ad. I would have turned that in with pride and been fine. But you are dealing with a unique situation, and if they're right, and then there's a lot of alliteration in that ad, and there is nothing harder to pick up on than high-speed alliteration in a language you don't understand. The constant, repetitive plosives and things like that. And so you could do the same thing, but just make your word choice easier to distinguish between words.
I think that's a fair approach. I'd also add that ad is good, and honestly, the client is a little right. It is clever. It's got some word pictures and mental images in it that we would like as English speakers. But if you're English as a second language, easy as pie is not the easiest thing to understand.
Yeah. What is it? Idioms?
Easy.
Maybe avoid idioms.
There's a lot of idioms, and there's a lot of if you're struggling to just make sense of each word, the idea of driving a car through a pumpkin patch because my brakes failed and I'm making puree now. It's not so much the word puree, it's why am I in a pumpkin patch and why are we talking about brakes?
Right.
And I think you can be still clever with short, punchy.
When I was trying to get in.
We fix brakes.
Yeah.
Squeaky brakes. Unsafe brakes. Scary brakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Not so scary, but about to be scary brakes.
And we make it easy for you to get your brakes fixed.
Yeah.
And so sometimes just the direct approach, an app like Hemingway can help you clarify without dumbing down too much. Like you can set your goal to be, let's look at maybe an 8th grade reading level or a 5th grade reading level.
I think Dave just wrote your ad, in case you were wondering.
And I
that
think
was the one.
If their audience is struggling with English anyway, you can definitely help them by being more clear, right? If imagine yourself in a country where they're speaking a language that you don't understand, and you're just trying to find a bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Sometimes that's hard to do.
When I was learning advanced Spanish, you start getting into idioms that are native to Spanish speakers, and they depend so much on like historical upbringing knowledge in innate knowledge that I just didn't have. And so like anytime anything became slang or idiom or clever, I had to pause and then I had to find somebody and be like, what the hell are you talking about? And like, oh yeah, well, when you're a kid, this thing happened. And so avoid that. But I love the idea. Don't mistake the inability to keep up with localized idioms with intelligence levels. Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems with being a non-native speaker is you come across as not as intelligent as you are because you can't take advantage of the natural flow and idioms and slang. And so your ad doesn't need to be dumbed down. It just needs to be easy to follow.
Yeah.
And I loved that I have, hey, We fix brakes, and then name all the kinds of brake that would need to be fixed.
And I'm not sure if you're Canadian or the US, like you could start the ad with, "We fix brakes. Welcome to Canada."
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, I would start with welcome to Canada.
Yeah.
Welcome to Canada. We fix brakes here.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So when you need your brakes fixed, come to us.
Yeah.
And the rest of us will get it. You know, idiom is weird. It even sometimes doesn't translate across English-speaking countries.
No, it really doesn't. You get idioms from the South, and Yankees not going to be able to
Or
pick up on
Australian to U.S. or Canadian to U.S. Sometimes we had somebody from Canada call the Welcome Center last week, and Sam got me on the phone like, I can't understand him. He's got a really heavy accent. I'm like, where's he from? Canada. Turns out it was Montreal.
Oh, okay.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
yeah,
I think you can still be clever. You just have to.
I would argue that that is clever.
Make the goal of understanding and lack of idiom the point, the key strategy to the ad writing, and you can still come up with those examples.
I think Dave's ad was clever, so I think what we're saying is change the cleverness from the wordplay to the message.
Yeah,
and then simplify your words. I hope that's helpful. All right.